Alright, so what is going on, guys, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video we're going to be reviewing the Microsoft Elite Controller Series 2 V2, whatever you want to call it. On the box it's called the Series 2. Is the Series 2 better than the previous Elite controller? Yes, depending on who you ask. But let's go ahead and jump right into the review. First, let's talk about what makes this controller different from the previous Elite controller. So the previous Elite controller, we all know, had really good build material. Personally, I wasn't really a big fan of it, especially because of every time you picked up the controller, the paddles on the back were just a little bit too sensitive for my liking. Every time you pick the controller up, it would activate all the buttons. Finally, they fixed that. So this one, the paddles on the back are greatly improved and you don't have to worry about accidental presses. So that was the first solid upgrade that I noticed out the gate comparing it to the original Elite. Number two, the build, of course, is going to be a lot more similar to the Xbox controller that was released, I want to say, in like 2017 or 18. That had the little bit different design toward the top and toward the bumpers, and also had Bluetooth integration. So you can use this controller wirelessly with Bluetooth now, just like you could with a PS4 controller. I didn't have the greatest experience using it with Bluetooth, probably because I have a lot of Bluetooth devices just like anybody else, but this one didn't really have as good a performance as I thought it would over Bluetooth, but using it wired was just fine. And of course, using it wireless with the Xbox One also worked fine. I'm mainly talking about when I used it on PC with Bluetooth. It was just kind of okay in terms of the experience. And I definitely noticed that playing with it wired had a much better response time from the controller. They did change the color scheme of this controller a little bit too, so now instead of it being like black and light gray, now it's pretty much all black with some dark gray accents. In terms of the shoulder buttons, the triggers, and the D-pad, everything is now a really dark gray, which I think makes a lot more sense. You know, the Xbox One X is all black. I feel like this fits that theme a lot better with the Xbox One X and the upcoming Xbox Series X. Another huge thing that they added with this controller, USB-C and rechargeable batteries built into the controller. And I'm really glad they added that. I don't know why it took them so long to add that. It seems like Sony has had that for years, but they actually did it a really special way this time around too. So not only is the battery integrated, but you can also charge this controller simply by dropping it in the charging case. That's right, the carrying case now is also a charging case. Unfortunately, the carrying case doesn't have a battery built in, so you can't take it on the go and keep your controller charged 100% of the time. But of course, you can leave your controller inside your carrying case with your carrying case plugged up and make sure that it's always fully charged the next time you need it. Speaking of the carrying case, it looks exactly the same as the previous carrying case, but it is a lot different. Like I said, now you've got the charging port on the back of the carrying case, so you got to make sure to plug in that USB-C so that your controller always is charging. And then inside, you'll see you've got a lot of spaces for your paddles, your other 4 thumbsticks, as well as your spare D-pad. In terms of the thumbsticks that they give you a couple long, a couple short, a couple medium. They give you like 3 that are in the style of the original Xbox One, where they're really small and concave. Then they give you 2 that are bigger, but also concave and smoother. So I do like those. And the other one that I like a lot is a longer domed or convex thumbstick. That one is really nice as well. It's got like these little rings on it so you have extra grip. So I do like that thumbstick as well. Then they also give you this tiny little Allen key that you can use to adjust the tension of your thumbsticks. It was okay, you know, it's a cool feature to have. Personally, if I'm looking for some more granular control, I'm just gonna use a keyboard and mouse, but this is cool. If you see some value out of this, I would say try it and then, you know, kind of see what you think of it. But I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I kind of thought that the snap back to the center wasn't really as natural feeling as using any other controller that I've ever used. It's good. I don't know if it's really gonna help me. When I was using it, I could barely tell the difference between the loosest setting and the firmest setting. And in between, it was just kind of, I don't know. I didn't really think that it was very useful. Can you do it? Is it nice to have? I guess. I don't really think it's very useful though. If you're still a hardcore controller player, maybe you can find some use out of that I wasn't really able to see because I primarily play more keyboard and mouse now. In terms of comfort, it feels just like the previous Elite, just as comfortable. The rubber grips on the side are pretty nice. They are different this time around. The feel of this controller is very premium and I do like it. Now let's get into what makes this controller special, and that's gonna be the fact that this thing has the best software integration with any console, the Xbox specifically because it's a Microsoft product. So they did develop an app that you can use with your Elite controllers. And obviously that's the biggest thing that separates this from every other custom controller ever. So now we are in the Xbox accessories. So we got the headset plugged in, and then we've also got my controller that I've named Controller Player from Mongrel, of course. But we have 3 profiles that we can go ahead and configure here. I've only configured the first one because it's pretty much all I need. I've just been playing FPS recently. If I did need to set up another one, I probably would set it up for like Forza or something, like a driving game. But other than that, we can go right here to edit our controller, and we can customize each and every one of the face buttons as well as the pedals on the back. And you can literally remap any button to any button that you want. And it's super easy to do too. It's built into the Xbox. There's no need for software. You'll probably have to update the controller over the Xbox One after you pair them, but you can do that wirelessly. You don't even have to plug it in to update the controller. And all this stuff is super easy to do. So obviously you can change, you know, the way that you want your sticks to function. If you want them to be backwards, that's cool, that's up to you. You can reassign buttons, like I said, to anything. You can even reassign your buttons or your paddles on the back to do specific functions within your Xbox. Like if you want to set a paddle to record a clip or search, go straight to your party, open the guide button if you don't want to reach up to the Xbox button. But the other thing, you can set one of your buttons or paddles to be used as the shift button, so that when you press that button and you press another button, you can have it do a secondary function, which I think is really cool. And that basically doubles the amount of buttons that you have on your Xbox controller to do literally anything that you want, with less scrolling through the menus and browsing around and all that good stuff, to just holding a paddle and maybe hitting another paddle or another face button to do a specific function. Now, outside of the button remap, you can change like your sensitivity curve for your sticks, which I think is kind of useful. I would never do it because I'm just using the default sensitivity on your sticks, and then adjusting your in-game sensitivity is a lot better for me personally. That way I can keep my sensitivities across multiple games very similar very easily. And you know, if you want to do it from the controller level, at least you have that option. The triggers, you can set your dead zones for your triggers, so you can customize your actuation for your triggers. The triggers do have 3 level trigger stops. So you have like your full press, then you have a halfway, and then you have a hair trigger. This is cool for 2 reasons. One, you can set your trigger to be a hair trigger, then you can set your dead zone to the minimum amount, so that way as soon as you give your trigger the lightest press, it actuates. Now obviously that's going to have pros and cons, but if you want the absolute fastest actuation, that's how you can set it up. You can change the intensity of all the vibration motors individually, so in the triggers and also in the handles. And lastly, you can customize the brightness of the Xbox logo, which, you know, I keep it on full bright. Probably affects battery life a little bit, but it's not really that big of a deal to me. In terms of battery life, this thing is rated at 40 hours, but if you think I'm gonna play 40 hours a week on a console, you got another thing coming. PC Master Race all the way. But during my time testing this controller, I used it about 15%. I think I played for about 10 or 12 hours. I played some Call of Duty, played some Kingdom Hearts, and I played some Apex Legends, and that's pretty much it. I do like the Elite V2. Before, I was totally against the Elite controller. The first version, I did not like it at all. Just the paddle response alone was just not good enough for me. You would pick up the controller and you would actuate literally everything on the screen on your Xbox, and it was just horrible. I'm not gonna keep this. I'm gonna return it. I don't like it. This, now the actuation is a lot more deliberate, I'm glad that they fixed the biggest issue that I had with the Elite controller. So now this I would see as a potential option. On the other hand, is this thing worth $180? Like I said, that fully depends on who you ask. If you ask somebody like me that just got the controller and picked it up and started using it. I'm not keeping this, by the way. This is gonna be for a friend, actually. Let me borrow it. I've had very little time to use this controller, like a week. In a week is perfectly fine. Beyond a week, I don't know. I've been on some retailers online and just looked at the long-term reviews, and even looking for long-term reviews like 3 or 6 months later after this controller has been out, I've been finding a lot of stuff that's within like the first like few days or first couple of weeks, where people are reporting like stick drift, broken bumper buttons, paddles don't work, whatever the case is, battery life issues. If you want, I mean, scroll through some of the 1, 2, and 3-star reviews of, okay, my controller only lasts X amount of time and this happened. And of course, naturally, that happens with everything, but for $180. I really would hope that Microsoft's quality controller was a lot better than what it is, because these are the same issues that we were seeing on the Elite Series 1. Outside of the issue that I had, if I bought a $150 controller at the time and it broke in 6 months, I would be upset. And this, by getting a price increase, granted a few more features, but if the same issues are happening, I don't really know if I will give this one a hard recommendation, especially because I've already spent a ton of money using SCUF controllers. And don't get me wrong, I really like SCUF controllers. The customization that you can do in terms of like aesthetics is unrivaled, but it just got really old having to buy another $150 to $200 SCUF controller, sometimes more. I think the most I spent on was like $245 shipped, and it lasted like, I don't know, 13 or 14 months or something like that before the paddles on the back started to go out. But that's a story for another time. I should probably make a video about that. I was gonna do that like a year ago. Still haven't done it. I've been a busy guy. But anyways, it's just really not the best feeling when you spent so much money on a controller and then it breaks. And it's just something little too, like your bumper breaks. I've never broken a bumper on any of my controllers ever. Not a PlayStation controller, not an Xbox controller at all. 360, Elite, it doesn't matter. Never broken a bumper. And I've seen so many reviews of people breaking their bumpers on this controller, and I don't think it's them. There has to be something going on with the manufacturing. I don't know what it is. I hope they fix it very soon, but this is a really good controller, but I think that the quality control could be a lot better. Buy it at your own risk. If you do buy it, make sure you get like a store warranty or something where if something happens to it, you can easily take it back to the store and they'll replace it. That's my recommendation. If you're gonna buy this controller, make sure that you get some kind of extra extended warranty or something where it makes it easier for you to get another one in case something happens. But all right, you guys, that is gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new. I wanna thank you guys for coming through to the end of this video. If you guys stayed, comment Elite in the comment section below. But I will have this controller linked in the description below if you wanna take a look at it. Obviously, if you buy it at your own risk. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys got any questions, leave them in the comment section below or feel free to join my Discord. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next video.